Top 10 most racist states in America. Watch this one right here. Let's see. I know for a fact Arkansas is on top of this list. Arkansas is at least top 3. I know that for a fact.
This country has faced since the beginning. From racism has always been a genocide to Jim Crow laws and internment camps. Racism has always been a part of U.S. history. And although the nation has enacted many federal and state level laws to prevent the woes of the past from ever happening again, racism is still a problem today. Now, racism is defined as any prejudice or discrimination against a person based on their race or ethnic group. And while most people can identify that this is morally wrong, many still unintentionally subscribe to racist views. And according to anonymous social media listening data, some people have a lot of racist views. Of course, it's difficult to quantify exactly how racist the state really is, as most racist people aren't going to admit to a poll worker that they're racist. Many do, however, get pretty bold when they can hide behind a screen. So location-based monitoring of
that's facts. Yeah, like behind the screen, bro. I swear I hate that shit, bro. That's what the thing about the internet, bro. Like the motherfuckers are so confident behind this screen, bro. Cause you know you can't put your hands on them, bro. So they can say whatever the fuck they feel like, bro.
Tweets and Google searches gives us a pretty good indication. Remember though, while the following states do have many racist people,
that's why they didn't tell the poll workers, because they scared, but they scared somebody's gonna put their hands on them. They scared somebody's gonna check them. Not even they don't want to put their hands on them, bro. They scared of confrontation. That's why they don't want to tell it. That's why they're so scary.
Most people in these states are not racist. But if you want to see more videos concerning race, such as the 10 states with the highest black or white populations, let's hit 5,000 likes. These are the 10 most racist states in America. Number 10, Maryland. On the surface, Maryland doesn't seem very racist.
Maryland? That's kind of surprising to me. Wait, what? Maryland?
One of the least systemically racist states with the 12th lowest income gap by race, and is the 11th most racially integrated state in terms of the workplace, schools, and voting booths. So it's surprising that 16.59% of Twitter accounts discussing race in the state used hateful or derogatory language, especially since many researchers believe poor education to be the biggest cause of racism, and Maryland is the 4th most educated state. But considering its racist past, it also makes sense. Interracial marriage was illegal here until 1967. Both Rising Sun and Thurmont, two small towns in northern Maryland, were once home to the headquarters of a KKK chapter. And despite Maryland's nickname being the Free State, it was actually one of the last states to outlaw slavery, not doing so until November of 1864. So while very few people today act on their hateful views, with only 11 hate crimes based on race or religion reported in 2020, that dark history of racism still lingers here, especially in the more rural parts of the state. Number 9, West Virginia. There are countless Reddit posts by people of color who are scared to even visit West Virginia due to its reputation as the most racist state. And our data kind of backs it up, as 16.78% of West Virginian tweets about race used hateful rhetoric. But unlike in Maryland,
hold on, I'm taking a guess at like the top 3. I want to say the top 3 in this list. All right, take a guess. I think it's gonna be Arkansas. And for some reason, I feel like Connecticut. That shit just sounds... No. Like, Connecticut? Yeah, I don't know. Connecticut, that shit just sounds racist. And... Let's name one more state. What's the... Alabama. I don't know. It's like, those 3 states right there, Alabama, Connecticut, and Arkansas. I feel like those 3 states are on this list.
Maryland, where the racism is mostly subtle, many West Virginians are openly racist. Multiple Reddit users say they
Some just tells me something about those states is racist.
Say the N-word, and many others advise POC to keep quiet and stay out of bars, as racist views and drunkenness often lead to dangerous situations. One Redditor in particular noted, "There is a lot of racism here. I know some of y'all are going to tell me you don't see it, but I know you do. When we have to tell people to wear WVU gear to blend in and to stay away from bars for their safety, that's a big racism problem." Of course, it's also worth noting that most West Virginians are incredibly welcoming, but as 97.4% of the population is white, many people here, particularly in the more rural parts, have never seen someone with a different skin tone in their entire life. And as many West Virginians are wary of people they don't know, this ignorance is likely the cause of their racist views. But hey, at least the Mountain State has the 10th lowest employment gap by race and the 2nd lowest income gap. Although that may also be because there are literally no good paying jobs, so there can't even be a big gap since everyone's poor.
Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall.
Damn.
Humpty Dumpty had...
No Wi-Fi, huh?
Number 8. Arkansas. With signs like the
Fucking knew it. All right, that's 1 out of 2. I knew Arkansas was on this shit. All right, so Connecticut and Alabama. Those are the only 2 we need to get off now. I knew
He's
Arkansas
a former
was on
sheriff
this
of
shit.
Arkansas County caught on camera saying racial slurs, including the N-word. It's no surprise Arkansas is on this list. It is a surprise that it's only one of 2 southern states to make the cut, however, as many first-hand accounts claim the South to have the most in-person race.
Okay, hold on. I want to change up my guess a little bit. I want to take Connecticut off. I want to take Connecticut off because I just don't feel like Connecticut is a racist state. I don't feel like Connecticut's a racist state. All right, I still think Alabama, though. And let's do... I'm trying to think. Alabama and South Carolina. Alabama and South Carolina.
Racism, but that might just be because the majority of the racist population
I'm pretty confident about South Carolina. I feel like South Carolina is racist as fuck.
in southern states is older, and many older people don't use Twitter. Overall, 16.83% of tweets discussing race in Arkansas did so in a hateful way, which shouldn't be a shocker considering the natural state is home to the largest number of hate groups per capita, as well as the modern-day Ku Klux Klan, which is headquartered in Zinc. And speaking of Zinc, it's only a 20-minute drive from Harrison, Arkansas, which many deem to be the most racist town in America. Now, sure, not everyone in the town is racist, and a lot of the younger generation is trying to change its reputation. But many of the older residents are actually proud of their hateful views and have no shame showcasing them to the world. Number 7. Kansas. Kansas is the first state on our list where the data shows there's a systemic...
I was thinking Kansas as well. I was really thinking of Kansas as well, bro. Like, it was in the back of my mind. I was like, Kansas. I just didn't say it because I was like, all right,
problem
fuck,
with racism.
bro.
The income gap by race is
I
the
knew it. It
34th
was in the back
worst
of
of
my
any
mind.
state, and in
I didn't
terms
say
of
it, though.
racial integration, it's 37th. Now, I've been all over Kansas, and I'm honestly surprised it didn't rank even lower. In Wichita, for example, it feels like there's a literal line dividing the black, Latino, and white neighborhoods. The same goes for the Kansas City suburbs, where, as one Redditor put it, I think the problem is that the older generation have decided that minority influx, or even the perception of their presence, explicitly causes loss of property value and desirability. Another
Wow.
Reddit user from rural Kansas
Wow.
claimed, "You'll definitely hear unkind comments regarding minorities, in particular, quote-unquote, illegals and Muslims." I guess it makes sense that many of the elderly here have racist views, as some of them were alive when Jim Crow laws still existed. And unfortunately, at least some of that racism seems to have been handed down to the younger generations of Twitter users, because 16.95% of all tweets referencing race in Kansas did so in a hateful or derogatory way. Number 6. Wisconsin. Outside of dairy, drinking, and the Packers, most non-Wisconsinites probably don't know much about the state. But now you have something else to add to the list, because in 2020 alone, 74 hate crimes were committed in Wisconsin, which also just so happens to be the worst state in terms of racial integration and 43rd in terms of income gap by race. Even the Milwaukee Bucks president publicly chimed in on the issue, saying,
Oh my god, what the fuck is wrong with that water?
by race. Even the Milwaukee Bucks
Why is the water that color? Is that... They had to put something in the water. Why the fuck is the water that color? I don't know anything about this state, but there's no way the color is that fucking black. You know what I'm saying? There's no way. They had to put like dye in this shit or something, bro. Shit look like tea. What is this, bro?
president publicly chimed in on the issue, saying, "Very bluntly,
Wisconsin?
Milwaukee is the most segregated, racist place I have ever experienced in my life." which makes sense considering that many of Milwaukee's suburbs, such as Brookfield, were formed by racist policies like redlining and blockbusting. Even the schools in Milwaukee were segregated until the 70s. One Redditor from Brookfield shared their experience. Never in my 30 years have I experienced so much racism and prejudice. I share the same socioeconomic status as many folks in this community, and I am highly educated. Nonetheless, it seems as if all black people are quote-unquote thugs to them. I have been subjected to harsh stereotypes at neighborhood gatherings and been stopped and pulled over many times on my way to or from my house for no reason. In fact, my husband had the cops called on him and was accused of breaking into our own home just for moving furniture. Considering testimonies like that, the fact that 16.98% of tweets referencing race were hateful isn't exactly a shocker. Number 5, Hawaii. The land of rainbows isn't colorblind.
Wow. Damn, Hawaii. What's going on? What's going on down in Hawaii? I didn't even consider that state to be racist. That's crazy. No, because I feel like they're mainly exclusive to their people. Now that I think about it, don't they have a dislike towards tourists? I forgot.
But the issue isn't what you might think. While 17.06% of tweets referencing race in the state were deemed derogatory, upon further research, many of the offensive tweets were coming out of a place of ignorance rather than hate, due to the popularity of rap music and simultaneous lack of a heavy black culture in the state. One Redditor explains, "You'll hear the N-word a lot on the Big Island. Not by racists, but by people who grew up on rap and don't fully realize the severity of the word." Another user says, "The racism you'll inevitably experience won't be hostile, but it'll be very ignorant. I can't stress that Hawaii and the mainland have much different definitions of political correctness. Everyone makes comments about and jokes about race."
So wait, everybody down there, no matter the skin color, just goes around just saying nigga? Is that what I'm hearing right now? I mean, shit, it ain't got nothing to do with me, but yeah, that's definitely ignorant.
Now, in terms of institutional racism, Hawaii is actually the least racist state. It has the lowest employment gap by race, the 8th lowest income gap, and was ranked as having the best racial integration of the workplace, schools, and voting booths.
I want to have some fun real quick. I'm going to shoot that guy from far away. Real quick.
I mean, but how do they not know the severity of the N-word though? I feel like that's commonly known. I feel like other than like out of state, maybe you feel like out of state. I don't figure that's I'm not saying this is an excuse, but I feel like out of state is kind of. I was like, all right, maybe you don't know, maybe I gotta educate you. But I feel like if you're in state, you should really like know the history, right? Like, am I wrong? I feel like you should really know the history behind the words that you use. But I mean, all right.
Number 4, Mississippi.
Wait, what? You're telling me we're actually not the worst at something for once? Finally!
Well, yeah, I guess you could say that. But before you get too excited, the percentage of tweets mentioning race in a hateful way is still 18.59%. That's a big jump from Hawaii. And since Mississippi is the only
Wait, they just got a Confederate flag just hanging out on the
state on this list,
okay,
even
damn.
though most
they
Reddit
open
users
about it too. They don't give a fuck. Hey,
agree that it's probably the most racist region in the country. This study obviously isn't perfect, so who knows? Maybe Mississippi is actually the worst. I mean, they have the 8th largest employment gap by race and the 12th largest income gap, even with the lowest incomes in the nation. Heck, last year actually marked the first time in history that Mississippi voters opted to remove a Jim Crow-era law from their constitution. The provision, which was designed to prevent black Americans from holding office, made Mississippi the only state that could withhold a person from winning an election, even if they garnered a majority of the vote. And I guess it worked, because a black candidate has never been elected to any statewide office here, despite it being the blackest state in the country. Number 3, Maine. While the laws and workplace in Maine seem to be actively anti-racist, resulting in the 2nd lowest employment gap by race and the 17th lowest income gap, that doesn't mean many people here aren't still racist or ignorant. Over 95% of Maine is white, and much of the population is very rural. So outside of the Portland area, many Mainers have never seen a non-white person. And this ignorance seems to be the basis for most racism here. As one Reddit user
described, it's not really surprising. Like, who the fuck willingly goes and lives in Maine? I feel like if you actually live in Maine, you're an AI. There's no way you're an AI, bro. Like, you're an automated bot. Like, there's no way you willingly go up and live in Maine. What the fuck? I didn't even know that was a state. What I didn't know that was a
Thing is,
what?
the people up here don't even know they're being racist. Like when I'm eating something unfamiliar and Asian for lunch at work, I'll get rude comments about eating rice or weird animal parts. My coworkers also walk by saying ching chong ching chong. They think they're being funny, but it's offensive. Many Redditors have also noted there being an unusually large amount of Confederate flags, despite Maine being about as far away from the Confederacy as you could get, and that tons of white people casually say the N-word and hold racist views against the Somali immigrant population. This translates to the online world as well, as 19.25% of tweets regarding race used hateful or racist language. Number 2. South Dakota. Despite being right next to Wyoming, which is one of the least racist states according to the study, South Dakota definitely deserves its spot on this list. Not only are 20% of tweets referencing race in the state derogatory, South Dakota also has the second worst employment gap by race and the worst income gap. Wallet Hub actually ranks it as the third most segregated state in terms of the workplace, schools, and voting booths. And things only get worse when you consider that South Dakota is one of the least white Great Plains states, with just 84% of the population identifying as white and a large percentage identifying as indigenous. One Redditor states, "I won't sugarcoat this. I have seen firsthand landlords and employers reject applicants solely from Native American names and appearances. They told me to my face they do it regularly." Many other Reddit users talk of similar experiences, such as this account. "I applied for a law enforcement position and was asked by the interview board if I would pull people over solely for being Native 3 times before I walked out." South Dakota has had a long history of racism towards Native Americans, and it's seemingly still very present today. Now, before we get to number 1, make sure you leave a like and subscribe.
All right, before we get into number 1, I'm gonna take a deep guess. I'm really gonna take a deep test. I want to get this one right because I've only got one right. That was Arkansas. I've never got the other ones right. So I'm gonna name out 5 states off the top of my head that I think are gonna be number 1. All right, I still think it's gonna be maybe, I don't know about Alabama now. Let's just say Alabama. All right, so Alabama. Let me think. I'm trying to think of predominantly white states. Alabama. I'm still South and North Carolina. I feel like it has to be one of those, South or North Carolina. And let's do right top of my head. Hold on. Let's see. I'm trying to think right now. All right, let's just do Indiana and I need to see the map. Hold on, can I see the map real quick? Where's the map at? Right here. Okay. And let's do. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to look at him. I forgot which ones he did already. Kentucky. All right, there we go. Kentucky. We're gonna do that. Those are my 5 states.
And subscribe, and let me know what you think the most racist state is.
But without further
All right, what's the most racist state?
Number 1, Delaware.
What the
Fuck.
heck? Delaware? That's so random.
I know, I literally thought the exact same thing and quadruple checked to make sure the data was accurate. But it's true. 21.4% of users tweeting about race in Delaware did so in a derogatory way. In contrast, Vermont was far and away the least racist state, with only 6.96% of tweets about race being hateful. So yeah, you can do better, America. And especially you, Delaware. Who even lives in Delaware? Oh wait, my dad does. This may be both the first and last list that Delaware ever appears on, as the state is just too small to really be relevant. No offense, Dad.
That's why they pop in my mind, bro. They're, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to tell you, bro. They're not real people, bro. All right, well, this is a good video. This is a very educational video. Why was educational? Because now I know where not to move. Because, I don't feel like getting discriminating against for my skin color, that can happen anywhere. But these 10 states right here, I'm definitely staying far away from these states. So this is a good video to watch. All right.